Yo, I can't hear anything. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Gotcha.
Okay, how about now?
I got you now. I can hear you.
Okay, so I guess something come unplugged.
Uh,
There's Gary Sinclair coming in. All this stupid streaming shit. I'm working on the wheel doors or wheel things right now.
how much do those typically weigh?
Too much.
I know anything is too much for you, I'm sure, but are
Yeah,
it fractions of an ounce or ounces or
this right here. It's probably, I don't know. They probably add 3/4 of an ounce to the airplane.
okay.
So it'll put it at 64 ounces. I'm kind of anxious to get them done to see what it does put on it. We'll see.
That twister came out looking real nice. My cousin sent me a picture of it. I don't think he expected to get that sunburst on there like that.
Yeah, it ain't nothing. They're just four little.
Well, got it. For you, it's nothing, but for a guy like him who doesn't have any way to paint anything, it was even extra. I don't think his wife would. I don't know if she's got some health issue or what, but he can't have any kind of smell over there. And it's really hard to do any kind of good painting outside. Just
You can paint dope outside. Shit, you can paint anything outside. I've done it. Yeah, I don't know what these little wheel things weigh.
here's a question for you. Let's say you wanted a 1 inch wide strip out of that piece you got in your hand there,
Yeah.
full 36 inches long, and when you cut it out of there, it went spring and was no longer straight. Is there anything you can do about that, or you just got to go find straighter wood?
Well, what you have to do is first off, you have to cut it along the grain. Don't worry about the edge of the board. You got to look at the grain itself.
Okay.
So if the grain's going off like that, you got to cut the board that way. Next thing is I would cut it a 1/2 inch bigger than it needs to be out of the board, and then draw the two lines on it and sand it to the lines, and then you get it straight.
Okay. Fair enough. Those Skyries I'm using, it's all wood that I bought from Schaefer's, believe it or not.
Yeah.
I wasn't going crazy on it. I was trying to come up with some 1 inch strips, 1/8 inch for the leading edge on the wing is two stacked pieces of 1/8 inch, and they're I don't need them to be a full 1 inch wide, but when I cut them, ring, like, oh, what am I going to do about this?
Well, if they're two pieces of stacked 1/8 inch together, you could glue them together first and then cut them out.
Well, the way that I was kind of copying the way that that leading edge worked on that Pat Johnson Ringmaster. You first put one piece of 1/8 inch on, and it gets trimmed down to kind of match the rib contour, and then that gives you somewhere for the leading edge sheeting to bond to between the ribs, and then the second piece of 1/8 inch goes on. So you really can't make them into one before they get glued on there, unfortunately.
Yeah, you can. Trust me, I could do anything.
You don't know how good I am.
Yeah.
I remember you said that on the stream one time. Um, yeah. Well, I'm gonna go after it with the things you said in mind first, because I don't know why I wasn't even thinking about that. Cut it in line with the grain, whether it matches the edge of the sheet or not.
You have to.
Yeah.
Absolutely have to. Well, let's see if I can get another one of these made. I made one. It takes a little bit of time to make these little things. Let's go
Your
here.
legs.
Whatever you call them.
I don't know what happened to Gary. He's
I
here, but he's not.
Ain't got a
Oh, we
can't get the
don't.
camera working
Oh, gotcha. All right.
for some reason here.
Tell the truth. You didn't want to do your makeup tonight, so you turned your camera off.
Yeah, that's right. I didn't get her made up tonight. Yeah.
There is a gear door, maybe. There we go. Well, I can tell you how much it weighs here in a second. We'll weigh this one and then the other one. That'll tell you how much that door adds. Leg, door, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. We got, I put the scale. It's over there.
Are those aluminum hubs on those wheels, or aluminum wheels with the tires on them, or is that just?
Yep.
Hmm.
Unobtainium, can't get them no more.
Are they? And obviously they're light enough for you, or you wouldn't be messing with them, right?
Now they're the lightest.
You
But
like
they,
those weird little 5-spoke Dubro things they sell?
oh yeah, but they don't last.
Okay.
Okay, this landing gear weighs 1.05 ounces or 30 grams with nothing on it. And this one weighs, let's take this one off. 1.05. I still got to put paint on them. Gary Hayjack, and you didn't know Gary, but Gary Hayjack and I use titanium welding rod for landing gear.
Okay.
It was lighter, but it made a hell of a howl when you landed.
Huh.
Come on, get off there. There it is. Okay, 1.05 or 30 grams. And this weighs 31 grams. That can't be right. Mode 1.10, I guess so. That's 1.10 on that side. And 1.10 on that side. Huh. Interesting. Wonder how that happened. They're both exactly the same. Oh, well.
So they're weightless.
Yeah, sure.
Somehow filled with helium.
Yeah. Let's weigh them. Let's see about what it weighs. I got the parts right here. We'll just wait. See how much extra this adds. Plus glue, but there. Two grams extra.
Negligible.
So
You,
with the glue, 3 grams extra on that.
you could get 2 grams worth of dirt on those tires out there.
Yeah. Well, I know that wheel pants themselves weigh ounce or better more.
Yeah.
I mean, they look cool, but when you're fighting to keep it under a certain weight, you just got to go, well, what am I going to do? Well, I wonder what kind of success we'll have tonight on a live stream.
I don't know. We were saying it seemed like more people used to come on here back when they were really late.
I guess.
I couldn't tell you because I didn't really even watch them back then. It's like it was almost 9 o'clock when they started. Are there that many more people on Stunt Hangar from the West Coast?
Just Charles, but he had his friends.
That's what I mean, though. Was it a lot of people from out his way that were on what? Because for the West Coast guys, like right now, they're probably sitting in the car on the way home from work still, or they're just getting home to dinner or something. Maybe that's why they don't come on right away.
And I don't know. I just know that it's not convenient for most of the people to be on at midnight.
Sure. Philip Bailey.
Or so.
Yep, we have arrived.
You can break out another ice cream bar in front of me.
Oh, do what now?
So you're gonna break out another ice cream bar?
My speakers aren't working yet.
Uh-oh.
Let me see. Let me see if I can figure this out. All right, we go over here to.
Everybody's having trouble tonight.
Now it works. Now it works. Okay, I got you now.
You gonna break out another ice cream bar in front of me?
No, not tonight.
Oh man, I
At
was
least not for half an hour or so.
living vicariously through you, watching you eat those.
Yeah, I can't eat anything with salt in it, but luckily those are no salt.
Hmm.
And I got my little monster wants his 15 minutes of fame,
There you go.
He's already up my lap. I got ready to get on the computer, so he jumped up here.
Gary Sinclair is having a hell of a time getting in. I had a heck of a time with my microphone.
Yeah, Gary was gone and now he's back, but he's
That noise in the background.
Oh, that's a TV going in the background. I can't do nothing about it. I'll just mute myself. That ought to be much better. Still be a little noise in the background, but should be a lot quieter than it was. So how is everybody? Sparky looks like he's busy as usual.
Yeah,
there's a setting in the audio, Philip, that lets you use Zoom to remove background noise. They got a low, medium, high, and auto for how much it'll take out. I don't know if you want to mess
All right,
with
let me
that.
see if I can find that. Okay. Settings. And it's called what now?
I went over to the audio on the lower left and clicked the up arrow. And then the bottom of my menu, the last thing is audio settings. But I guess it looks like you could be anywhere in the settings tab, and on you could first a general, then video, then audio. If you're in the audio section, about midway down the page, it says audio profile, Zoom background noise removal, and you can pick auto, low.
I'll keep looking for it here. I haven't found it yet. Speakers. Advanced.
I wonder if we're on different versions of Zoom.
Could be. Troubleshoot common sound problems. All sound. Volume mixer. Help with sound. Okay. Try that. Setting up microphone. No, that's not what I need. Well, now that I know about that, I may not fool with it too much tonight because I can't stay on that long tonight, but I will look at it tomorrow and see if I can't find it. Now, where'd everybody go? Huh. Very strange. There we go. Well, that's weird. If you go to gallery, I see three. Well, there's only three of us. So,
Well, Gary Sinclair's in there, kind of.
Yeah,
I
I'm
see
trying
Gary.
to get my camera.
No camera.
Send me a picture.
Well, it's
No.
it's all black.
Phil, you want to send me your picture?
Nope.
Oh, I haven't sent it yet. I haven't actually got anything to send yet. I'm trying to get something finished enough to send a picture of it. Everything I've got that's well, anyway, you've got pictures of everything that I've got that's flyable right now.
Yeah.
I'll try to get you another picture of this, Gary.
We'll get him a picture of the one of mine here tomorrow, I hope. What in the heaven's name are you doing? Putting it together in pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way he does it.
Huh, how about that?
And CA, thin CA is all you use to hold that on permanently, Sparky?
That's it.
Huh.
As long as nobody picks it up by the landing gear.
You don't even have to use a ruler to do that. That's why you can do everything so fast. He just reaches down there and zip, cuts a straight line.
He don't play fair. Sparky don't play fair. He can do things eyeball that.
I mean, I could cut without a ruler. It just would look like I had my eyes closed when I did it.
Well, yeah, me too. I can do it without a ruler. Just don't look for any straight lines.
Anybody can do what I do. All I got to do is do it enough.
That's what Paul Walker says when he's flying, but you don't believe him either.
Yeah. Well, flying thrones, if I had flown as many thousands of flights as Paul Walker, I could fly much better, but that don't mean I could fly with Paul Walker.
Right.
The year that he went to the Worlds, not this one, but the last Worlds that were in Muncie, he flew the Mustang. And it was a 4-stroke. That means it burned about, 2 ounces of fuel per flight?
Not as much, yeah.
He had burnt 55 gallons of fuel practicing for the world nationals and the worlds.
Wow.
Do you realize how many thousand flights that is? 55 gallons divided by 2 ounces.
He doesn't even have to load up to go fly, though, doesn't he? Have it like right behind his house.
Oh, he's got a field in his backyard, but
that
don't
helps.
let Paul kid you. That man he's got some unbelievable reflexes, and he's just so good. If you watch him, every flight looks like the one before. And all of them are just, you can't hardly find a flaw. And there's several people like that. There's Paul, David Fitzgerald, Well, I can't think. I'm drawing a blank tonight, but anyway, it's been a long day.
Probably Matt. I'm guessing Matt Cohen. He was a guy
Matt
on.
Cohen's pretty darn good too. I watched him pretty close at the Worlds, and he's very good. I didn't know Matt. Didn't I? Still don't know him, but I didn't know of him until just right before the Worlds. So at the Worlds, I watched him, and he's as good as advertised.
Yeah. Brett Buck. I guess he's famous.
Brett Buck's amazing. Yeah.
Those guys all fly together. Sometimes that helps. They kind of, I don't know, like I used to be into dirt bike racing, and you weren't going to be fast if you didn't live in Southern California. You know what I
Oh,
mean? Like you
Lord.
had to be around all those people.
Yeah. Yeah, we thought we were fast around here. There were several of us when I was in junior high. Before I hit my last growth spurt, I used to dirt bike race, and a little Hodaka Wombat and a Wombat Combat, a 100 and a 125, and we
Hmm.
thought we were pretty quick. And then we went to a national race down in Georgia that had people from California and Florida and all over.
Yeah.
Lord, I couldn't even qualify.
Yeah.
I had just won a big race here the weekend before, and I could not even qualify. I said, you have got to be kidding me. These guys are so much quicker. It's not even funny. Mickey Boone was a big time rider at that point, and I don't remember what he did, but he did well enough that Honda wanted him to go to Europe and ride a Honda. But he got hurt playing around and went to jump what he thought was one more dirt pile, and then he was going to turn the bike over to somebody else, is what I was told. I don't know for sure. I've never talked to Mickey about it. He's a friend. I've ridden bicycles with him for years. He's a good guy. But long and short, he went and got hurt playing around, just having a good time, and got hurt and had to give up the ride to Europe. So he
That's
hit what he thought was a dirt pile, and it was actually a pile of gravel. And I understand he broke his pelvis and messed him up.
ouch.
Messed him up, yeah. Bike dug in and he hit the handlebars with his pelvis. And oof. The last time I rode with him and tried to talk to him, he didn't want to talk about, hey, Jonathan Carradas is coming in.
Yep.
Big John, all the way from New Zealand. It's almost said Australia. He'd probably get after me about that.
I think there's got to be some of that goes around in every sport. You get the hotbed somewhere where a lot of better people are, and then the young kid that comes up gets taught by the better people, and the next thing you know, he's going to be the better people, and it just kind of feeds itself.
Well, I tell you what, the only one that I've ever seen, the only two that I've ever seen go from being a kid and getting coached to being a first class pilot, there's two of them. One of them is David Fitz. Hey, Jonathan, how the heck are you? Glad to see you back, Bubba.
Yeah.
Out of the hospital and back.
Yeah. Good, mate. Yeah, good to be back. Yeah.
Good deal.
I hear you mention that four-letter word there. You don't mess up Australians and Kiwis, you know.
Yeah, I know. I corrected it. I got a friend who's an Australian, and I've got a couple that are from New Zealand, and I got one of them getting ready to go back to New Zealand. He's going to send me some rods from a company over there, CTS. I don't know what to go by over. I don't know if it's CTS over there or what, but here it's known.
Composite development.
Do what?
Your rods, are they composite developments?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm telling you,
Yeah.
I'm telling you what, I've used the best casting rods out there. Somebody once upon a time thought I was a good caster and decided to hook me up with some of the best rods out there. And
Yeah.
I was using the hottest stuff that you could get at the time. And all of a sudden, here comes CTS. They put a CTS in my hand. And I said, this thing is too light, and it's too this, and it's too that. All he'd say is, go try it. Go try
Yeah.
it. I went out and tried it, and I was ready to throw everything else away. That stuff,
Yeah.
their stuff is amazing. I mean, they absolutely have the market figured out.
Yeah.
The
I
rod
had,
I was using, I gave to the guy who built the CTS for me. I just told him, here, you take this and I'll keep this one. He said, well, I built that for you anyway. I said, well, that's all right. You take this and home with you. I had talked that rod up so much, and then I used it through that CTS, I think 4 times, and I didn't want anything to do with the other one again. It didn't.
well,
It just didn't feel the same. This thing is their stuff is so easy to cast. Now I don't
it
know about
is.
their fly rods yet. I've got 2 fly rods here I'm building. One of them, in fact, is right here.
Does it fly?
I don't know. I haven't been able to try it yet. This is a 10 weight to go to the coast, and I've got a 8 weight over here somewhere for bass fishing, and I've got a 5 weight on the way somewhere. I don't know where it is, but
So you haven't tried your fly rod from them yet.
no, not yet, not yet. But
Oh, you gotta-
I have
I got
tried.
one.
I have tried the Almighty Helios, and everybody wanted me to buy a Helios. That's a Orvis rod, and I'm not knocking it, but I looked at it and it says there's one thing about the Helios that turned me off of it. Made in China.
Ah, yeah, well, if you
So I
buy a
did not buy the Helios.
composite rod,
I didn't buy the Helios.
no, well,
We have a big rod building show that comes to Winston-Salem every year. And the 3 people from CTS are the same 3 people that come every year. I don't know if they're owners. I don't know if they're just salesmen. I don't know what the deal is. Haven't asked them. But the lady is so sweet. Every time I walk over there, the woman sells me a darn rod. And I pay full retail. But that chick sells me a rod every year. I don't know what it is with her. I've got 4 of her rods now. I've been
Got
there
any
5 times.
You got any
Do what?
pictures? I got some ideas about what it might be.
Well, I tell you
So
what,
what
I don't have.
airplanes are you building?
Right now, the one that's going to be finished. The next is that's a good idea, Sparky. We need to get on airplanes. The one I'm working on to finish, I'm hoping to get painted the yellow on it tomorrow, is the Humongous, an old timer. Then the next one, once I finish the Humongous, the next one down out of the door will be a Gieske Nobler that's almost ready for color. I still got to sand the wheel pants, the fillets and all on the wheel pants a little bit, and it'll be ready for paint. It's clear coated and covered, but it's ready for paint. But I got to get some polar gray. My polar gray went bad. I opened a can of polar gray up, and it looked like mud.
You got any white
Can,
and 2 drops of black? You got polar gray.
2 drops of black.
Look at
Thank you,
that.
Sparky. I'll do that. I'll
Black
have
to-
that tomorrow.
Black to white, and you know,
I'll do that. I had not thought of that. I don't know why I had not thought of that, but I had not thought of that. So I'll do that tomorrow. We'll come up with some polar gray and get that thing sprayed. But it's ready. I did the Sparky cowl trick with that blue fillet. I forgot fillet material, whatever you call it. I forgot the name of it.
Phil.
Super fill. I had never seen that trick, and I'd always wondered how does Sparky and some of these other guys get those cowls, the line's so tight. And I have done it a few times, but I've done it with 1/64 plywood on the edges. Well, that plane's got so many edges, it changes angles so many times. You talk about a nightmare. That would have been a nightmare. But some cellophane, it's not cellophane, I forgot what you call it, that cling wrap. Put that down and then force the putty up under it, the filler up under it, and in the gaps. And when it dries, and you take it apart, mix up some more of the stuff, and where it just goes in the crack, it's be so wide, and putty just comes back this far, bring it back the rest of the way and bring it in even all the way around. And guess what? The cracks are gone, everything's filled, and it just works. So thank you again, Sparky. That trick worked very well. And once it's painted over, you can't tell it's not wood. Now, I'm sure if you bump it, you're liable to knock a chip out of it, but
Nope.
we'll just have to be a little careful.
You're gonna knock shit out of it if you did it right.
Well, I hope I did it right. I don't know. I mixed the fool out of it. I tell you what, that's what I was looking at right there. Look at his gaps. That old buzzard can do a gap. His planes, every one, it's not just that plane. Every one of his planes are like that.
Because I do it every time.
He's a dirty old man, but he builds an airplane as good as anybody I know.
Did you guys see my buffing videos today?
No, I did not, Sparky. I've been busy all day. I'd like to see the buffing videos though. I'll try to see them tonight or tomorrow.
I explained the different colors of buffing pads and how to use them to get a shine. As soon as I get this done, I'll turn it over. We're going to get a weight on this to see if I'm at 64 yet.
How much clear have you put on it?
I got 1 quart of top coat on it. One, so it's actually 2 quarts thinned.
How much weight did all that put on, Sparky?
About 3 ounces.
So what's she up to now, all up?
I don't know. We should be getting close to 64 with these little dinghies on it. That's about what I figured it was going to weigh.
Yeah.
I'm out of paint, so I'm done painting.
He beats all I ever seen though. He guesses, he'll tell you ahead of time what the darn thing's gonna weigh. And when he gets it built, he don't miss it by much.
Well, I don't want it to be too damn heavy. It'll be too tail heavy. The heavier it goes, the more tail heavy it'll be, and then you got to add nose weight. And then if you add nose weight, it turns like so. You add more paint, so it's just a roundhouse.
Yeah, that's good.
What donkey have you got in it, Sparky?
What?
What's the donkey in it? The motor.
It's Super Tiger 60, Brian Gardner.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
I got some PAs. I've had much better luck with these Brian Gardner 60s.
Yeah.
They're more
Brian makes some
friendly.
more of those things. I'd like to have about 4 of them myself. And I fly electric.
I got 5 of them, and they should last me the rest of my life.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I don't think I can wear 5 motors out. What I got left.
Put the wrong fuel in them, you'll wear them out real quick.
Yeah.
It's a nice paint job, Sparky. When I was in hospital watching you and you went to stripes, I thought, oh no, it's going to look like shit. But it turned out good. Turned out real good.
Every time I start striping, people say that's going to turn out like crap.
It's good playing.
Sparky, most of us can't do that, and it looked like anything but homemade crap. You have a talent for it.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, you can bend those light waves, Sparky.
What's that?
You can bend those light waves, mate.
Yeah.
You can make a turd look good.
Well, with as much clear as on this, I'll show you what the top looks like here in just about a second. I'm almost done sanding this. I haven't started polishing the bottom. The whole idea behind my painting system is to get the most with the least. And I put more clear on this than I put on any airplane in the last 10 years.
Well, I've seen Monado and I've seen the orange Junar, so this thing ought to be shiny as heck.
Oh yeah. Well, the Monado only has 1 quart of clear on it. This has 2.
Wow. Wow, this ought to really be shiny. That Monado, guys, is gorgeous. It's a little too big to really, and I didn't realize it. I was looking at the thing, I couldn't figure. Sparky told me he made it a little bit too big. Yeah. But it is one beautiful airplane.
Hanging out.
Any of you guys ever have trouble with the lines shrinking, or if they're put on too tight, I guess. But peeling up from underneath the the clear finish, clear coat?
Hey, Lynn, how are you? No, that's a new trick on me. I never heard of that.
Got your check today, Len.
Oh, that's great, Sparky. Glad to hear.
It'll go out this week.
Okay, that's awesome.
How
Thank
are
you.
you, fellow? How are you, fellow Royal Commonwealth person?
Oh, how you doing, Jonathan? Glad to see you're feeling better.
Well, I'm getting there. As I said the other day, I'm not. The rumours of me leaping over tall buildings and catching falling airliners is greatly exaggerated, but I am getting better.
That's good. I'm just glad
I
you're
like
getting
him.
better.
He's crazy. Oh,
I
We're
won't be
all a
able to
little
fly.
crazy.
I might try
yeah.
flying out of my chair first of all when I get back into it in the next week or two, and I'll just use small stuff to pull me around. I won't be wrestling with any 40s or 60s for a while, and then I'll try working around there with a cane out in the middle and see what happens. You know, if I've got a third leg to help me up, help me get still stable during stunts, I'll try that.
Don't
So
rush it. Take your
no,
time. There's no
yeah,
hurry.
no, that's right. Exactly
Good
right.
stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
thanks.
just glad you're feeling better.
Yeah, oh yeah, it was. I was pretty bloody crook when I went in. They couldn't fix me up straight away there. They've been chasing all sorts of stuff. They haven't quite
Right.
finished yet, actually, but anyway, I'll get there. But thanks for your thoughts and all your.
Well, you're very welcome.
I,
I'm glad you're getting better and on the mend.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I'm
never a
getting
nice thing when you're sick. It's not good.
nah. Anyway, I'm only half the man I was. If I told you how much juice they squeezed out of me, you'd be appalled.
Oh, I can only imagine. It's not always pretty, that's for sure.
Yeah. Oh dear. Anyway, what have you been up to, Lynn? What have you been flying lately?
I've been flying every day for the last 42 days. I've flown every day.
Wow, heaven.
That's
So,
coming to an end, though, here shortly.
well, I'm
Ain't
gonna
that
try
the
and
truth?
fly. Some days I only get
Wow.
out for one flight or a half a flight, but I get a flight in every single day. And I want to see how far I
That's
can
cool.
push the envelope.
You do it in the next 2 months, I'll be impressed.
We'll see if
Yeah.
we can do it in winter. It could get real ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it gets rather chilly where he is.
Oh yeah, it'll be
It's
messy.
chilly here.
That's right.
That's when you need a big indoor stadium to fly in, eh?
Nah, I don't have that. It's gonna have
No.
to be outdoors in the snow.
What's the winter temperature in New Zealand, Jonathan?
Oh, at the moment, it depends where you are in the country, but it hasn't really warmed up at all yet. It's still probably 20 degrees Celsius, which is whatever,
50,
About 70.
70.
about
Okay.
70, 60,
Oh boy,
70.
that's a freezing 70 degrees.
Oh
Well,
yeah,
you gotta
that's
remember when it's our summer, it's his winter.
Right.
And
yeah.
his winter is 70 degrees. So you
Oh,
don't
yeah.
want to be
tough.
there and you don't want to
Better
be
have
there in his
long
summer.
johns on for that.
Well, we
You don't want to
don't
be there in his summer.
we don't freeze here in winter in Auckland, but
Yeah.
by geez, it's been cold this year. We've been down to about 10 degrees, 11 degrees some days.
What's that, 50?
That's what's that in
50.
Fahrenheit?
10 is 50.
Yeah, well, it's been bloody cold. I know that, but
You come over here when it's 10 or below zero, that's cold.
Yeah, that's cold.
no thanks.
Speaking of, does anybody on here, have you done any indoor flying in the winter? I've seen those videos on YouTube of Igor Berger flying in a gym over there somewhere.
I haven't done it, but some of the guys have.
The stuff to build
That'd be
one.
ideal.
I bought the stuff to build one, but I don't have the design. Somewhere he's published the plans for his little airplane, and I want to do that.
You send me your email in the chat. I have them. I'll send them to you.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll post them here in a few minutes. I'm gonna have to get out and come back in because somehow I have gotten rid of all my pictures. I'm sitting here looking at the Stunt Hangar control line forum page.
Have you ever looked into doing that anywhere around here, Sparky? Flying in a gym?
Back in
No,
a few minutes.
no, I sure haven't.
If one were available, would it be of interest to you?
Yeah, if we could do it.
I sent Steve a message about it not long after the Nats, but he must have been busy with something and he's forgotten about it because he never answered me. But supposedly, Melvin Schutte is going to cut kits of the airplane that GV or whatever.
Yeah, that's cool.
You see this right here?
Well, yeah, if you didn't want to cut them yourself, right?
Yeah. All I need is a picture of it on a napkin and that knife, and we'll be all right.
It sounds like you also need Igor's indoor. He's got a special indoor version of the flight timer.
Yeah, it's a special package of goodies, I'm sure.
That's really the only thing. The rest of it you can buy anywhere. Well, anywhere that sells electric motors and that kind of thing.
All but the lead outs wrapped. This thing is 100% ready to go. Now, what do you think it's going to weigh?
63 and a half ounces.
It's heavier than that.
If it's 65, it's for sale, right?
Well, everything I got for sale.
It was
Everything
66,
in the
giving it away.
every airplane is for sale at a price.
Yeah.
I'm not emotionally attached to anything I got.
I hear you, Sparky.
65.
65 and a half.
Man, I hope not.
64.
Okay, it weighs 1796. Oh, you dog.
1800 kgs, 1.8 kgs. Getting up there.
63. Let's see here.
You got a wingtip weight in yet?
Yep, it's all together. 63.4 ounces.
Come on now.
That's awesome.
Play the theme for Price is Right because I'm coming down to the showcase. I was the closest without going over.
Yes. Well done,
What'd you say?
Sparky.
What'd you say?
A new car.
That should be awesome.
I'd like to have that airplane. That's sharp.
Yeah, what do you figure it's going to add when you wrap those lead outs? A couple, 2-3 ounces?
No,
I don't think so.
couple of grains.
Yeah, that'll put it right on my 63 and a half probably.
No, it won't be. It won't add a tenth. A tenth is let's see, 28 is 2.8 grams. No, it won't add a tenth.
No.
You said it was 1796?
Yep, 63.4 ounces.
Sparky, that should fly all right.
Yeah, 63.350097001763668.
Oh, Chinese scale doesn't read that close.
There's two 8.35 grams to the ounce.
Yeah, for the tenth. 28.33 grams per ounce. 2.8 grams to the tenth.
Well, you little bugger. Oh, there it went. Okay. All right. Email's in the chat.
We see you.
Okay.
Sparky,
You
do
gonna get a
those
test flight on it before spring, Sparky?
Well, I hope so. Next week, maybe. If
Good show.
That soon?
yeah, if the weather's good.
Why not? It's finished. Just has to do the lead outs.
Yeah, test flight this weekend if the weather's good.
That's awesome.
I gotta glue the
set a
flaps
couple
on.
weeks. I always let them set a couple weeks, let the paint set up, make sure everything's cured.
Well, you're not supposed to slobber it all over the thing.
You know.
only
Well,
bad,
Sparky,
only bad ground crew let the gasket over the aircraft, you know.
It'll be fine. Paint's
It's
only
amazing where that bloody stuff gets, though, isn't it?
it's only a day old paint job.
Yeah, still pretty fresh. It'll gas off some more.
It does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody thinks it gasses off. It don't gas off shit. It may go down half a tenth, a couple of grams, but whatever's there is there. That's just the way it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I had a plane, my Spitfire with, the detachable wing. It dropped 3 ounces over 12 months just by gassing off or whatever. Drying
3
out, maybe.
ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It
I've
was,
never I've never
it
had
was
them
60,
gas off like that.
it was 60 something ounces, 62 or 3. And when I last weighed, it was 59.
Scale's wrong. I'm telling you.
Who took the muffler off it?
Yeah, I'll guarantee it.
Everybody loves chip mufflers. All the guys I fly with like chip mufflers. I hate those things. It puts a roar out that gets in my head when I'm flying. And
What's a
Tiger
chip?
60, a Tiger,
What's a chip muffler? You mean a
Um,
little stub?
little stub looking thing.
Bill,
Oh, yeah.
I like any muffler that makes my airplane fly better. I don't care what it sounds like.
Well, that's true, but I like the ones
If
that
it
make it fly
flies
better.
better, I'll put a pop bottle on the end of my engine if it'll make it fly better. I don't care.
I like these mufflers here. I got
do too.
3 of these, and on the
Let's have
dinger.
a look.
Like them too. I want to get some. I want to get up with Scott Dinger and get him to make me a couple. Yeah, a couple of those.
that's
I've got
nice.
some of those. That's what I like.
This is a Henry Nelson muffler.
No.
Does
Yeah,
Henry
no
still
way to
make them
that.
and sell them?
No,
I didn't think so.
that's NOS.
Yeah.
Everything I got's NOS.
Just about
Very good.
everything. It seems like.
All right, Phil, I sent you that link for those plans.
All right, all right. I'll see. Hopefully, I'll get here in a minute. If not, I'll look for it on Stunt Hangar tonight or tomorrow.
Either NOS or NLTF, not likely to find.
Yeah,
Ain't that the truth?
no longer production.
Hey, that reminds me of getting home from hospital. The dog, the dog down here has been into my man cave and run off with bloody control lines and props and bits and bloody pieces all over the place.
Nice.
Yeah, not nice. She
Nice at
wasn't my
all.
friend. She wasn't my friend for a couple of days, but she's getting back into it now. Yeah, you come back to all sorts of things when you've been away a while.
Yeah, mine for some reason likes to chew up tissue paper.
Never
And
leave
I
the
left
cave.
I left a bag of Brodak ultralight tissue. I never use this stuff. I've never used it. But I bought 2 packages of it when I was at Brodak this year. One to do a half A with, and the rest of that one and another one. I figured there she is. The rest of that one and the other one would do a full size stunner. So I marked it off and had it all ready to go on my plane. And lo and behold, the dog got into it and destroyed it. I mean, it's in little bitty pieces. He's 3 years old and he still loves to tear up tissue paper. I don't know what his problem is.
Well, Phil, you never used it and you're never gonna.
No, well, I'm gonna. I ordered 2 more packs. Let me tell
Oh,
you,
okay.
that
There you
stuff
go.
ain't cheap. That stuff
Whoa,
is
whoa,
not
whoa,
cheap.
just nothing at Brodax is cheap. Those
No.
days are long gone.
Yeah, I mean, one of the kits that I bought from Brodak, it's in the catalog at $219. It cost me $309. And I couldn't figure out now why did they charge me $309 for a Vector? I wanted another Vector, so I got one. I've got to call them tomorrow and find out why was mine $309? That's seems like an awful lot of money for a $200 airplane. But maybe it went up $100. I don't know.
How much was, I mean, did you see the breakdown on shipping and all that or no?
No, it just says kit price $309, $309.95. I thought, what in the
Bidenomics
heck?
working.
Yeah, I'm telling you. If we don't do something.
I can't afford any of the stuff anymore. I just can't. But by the
I know
time I
what you
change
mean.
it into by the time I change it into Canadian dollars, what do you think your 309 would cost me?
Oh,
Never gonna
200.
happen. Yeah.
Another 100
Huh?
probably.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what. I
230,
watched.
232.75 is the price right now.
Well, I got it says 309 on that
Maybe.
paper.
Did you tell them
But
to tip? Take a tip or anything?
I'm gonna call tomorrow and ask. I had not even looked at it. I just got it, put it on the shelf. I've had it for 3 months.
Man,
You just
But
have to look and see what the shipping and stuff cost. I don't
well,
know.
that's
A lot.
that's below that. It was. I don't even
Wow.
want to tell you what the whole package cost. It was not cheap. But anyway, I'll call tomorrow and ask her what the heck happened. But anyway, oh, now I forgot what I was going to say. Went out of my head that quick. But anyway,
These are the
If-
MPI wheels right here.
yeah,
Nice.
those are good. Those are good wheels. I've got them on several of my planes.
These
They're
are
nice.
These are John Jordan wheels, and they're 5 grams lighter.
What are they made from? What are they made from, Sparky? Are they aluminium inside, or are they a composite plastic?
Aluminium, as you guys
Oh,
say.
yeah. Thank you.
Aluminum.
I got a friend from Australia that says none. I say, you
It's like
mean
the way you guys
aluminum? He
say.
said none.
It's like the way you guys say bugger. We say bugger, and you say booger.
Bugger. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes, I got
yeah.
off right here. What do you know?
So I've just lightened my airplane up 10 grams,
Good night.
Good night, baby.
and I'll switch over the spinner to see what that's gonna take off. We'll lighten it up.
Put
some-
your-
Guys.
Put your carbon fiber one on it.
I got one.
Well, I worked my hiney off to get a 3-blade prop on the SV11 because I just wanted one on it. I've never had a plane with a 3-blade, and I wanted to try it. And I'd never flown it with anything but a 3-blade prop on it. So in the morning, I'm going out and fly it with a 3-blade, and I'm gonna pull that off and put a 2-blade on it and see what difference it makes.
More efficient. That's what the difference it makes.
Hey, just a
Blade.
thought, guys. You're talking about weight there, Sparky. Has anyone ever put a combat wing balloon into a stunt?
No.
What? Combat wing balloon. What are you talking about?
No, he's talking about a bladder.
Oh
bladder,
yeah, I've
We
done
call
that.
it a bladder.
A half A.
Yeah.
I've done that on half A, and it
I've
works.
seen a guy do it. I've seen guys do it. The trouble is they can't get a really steady motor run. It tends to be a
Yeah.
little bit wild.
Okay.
Yeah, Mike does it on his half A. Mike Longkey.
That's different. On a half A, you can do it, but when you try doing it on a 35 or 40 engine, they run pretty wild.
Yeah.
Why would you do that when I make tanks that are 1.5 ounces lighter than a metal tank?
Well, that's true too.
Sullivan
Wow.
and Rowe.
What I was getting at, Mike Longkey's plane that had it in it is one of the finest flying half A's I've ever seen. But I'm telling you
For
what,
sure.
I couldn't keep. You've seen it fly. I
I've
couldn't
seen
keep
it
up
fly.
with it. I
No,
couldn't
it's very
keep up
quick.
with it.
It
That's an
moves pretty quick.
understatement. That's an understatement. That thing, he's flying about a 3.5-second lap. And if he makes an error, you can't see it. The plane went by you too
Well,
dang fast.
you gotta understand he's a combat flyer too, so he's used to flying at those speeds. Most stunt flyers aren't used to flying combat speeds.
Boy,
I mean, I used to fly combat, like just speed limit combat, but the guys who fly combat, like fast or FAI or something like that, I mean, they're doing those laps all day long, so they're used to it. It's no big deal to them. It doesn't seem fast to them.
Well, I'm telling you,
Jonathan, when you said a balloon in the airplane, I'm sure this is probably a stupid thing, but I often wondered if everybody's so weight conscious. Have you ever thought about putting a Mylar pouch, let's say, inside the framework of the wing and putting helium in it? That doesn't deal with the inertia of changing directions, but it would account for slower coming down than going up. And I just wonder what that would do, if there'd be enough volume there to make a difference.
but
That's
I've
the
teased,
mark.
I've teased Tom Looper for 40 years about some of his airplanes got to have a gas bag in them because there's just no way something that big can be that light. But he says, no, it's not a gas bag.
What did you say, Sparky?
It's trained termites.
I don't remember.
Well, didn't Billy have one in his Thunderbolt, Sparky?
I think so.
So it is a thing.
No,
I'm telling you what.
No, I'm not serious.
Oh,
It's
okay.
just that that
Billy, where
airplane
would
was so it was so light, it was
You guys can
ridiculous.
send me on a snipe hunt and I wouldn't know at this point. So
No,
this,
we're
Bill
not gonna
Worwich
this
do
can
that.
build
Thunderbolt
so
weighed
light.
53 ounces.
And anybody else builds one at 73 ounces.
That's right.
Exactly.
And I
Hey,
built a
Sparky.
bunch of them chasing that number, and just impossible.
Hey, and if I build one, it'll be 93 ounces.
I don't understand. Sparky, you've built a bunch of them. Why do you build the sides so heavy? The 3/16 or 3/8 or whatever the heck the sides of that thing are, and then try to bend it at the front. Why not just redraw the formers and build the darn thing with 3/32?
Because that 3/16 is the crutch that holds the wing and the fuselage or the tailplane in line, and along with the engine, formers. And what you do is you sand that, you build that fuselage with the straight sides, you sand the outside to shape, you take the top and bottom off, and then you sand the inside. So you only got 3/32 all the way around. But most guys are too lazy to sand the inside.
Okay.
I'm playing with the idea. I haven't finished it yet, but
You
I
can't
redrew
see
the.
it, so nobody sands it. You can't see it, it's not there. Well, it is there.
Well, when you go to weigh the sucker, you can tell it's there. I've redrawn the fuselage sides and done it Al-Raby style and try to make it where it's a P-47 outbuilt like an Al-Raby airplane. And before somebody says I'll never did a P-47, he did. Jim Lynch built it, and I have held it. It was a beautiful airplane. But Jim Lynch could build a rock and it'd be beautiful. He was a very talented builder. Tim Just is in. My goodness. How are you, Tim?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Yep.
You did well on the weekend.
Oh, it was fun.
We got Gordon
Good for
and
you.
Gordon. He must be having an issue.
He's trying to get in.
Ed's here. Guys, I'm gonna have to leave for a little bit. I'll be back in a bit. I gotta go pick some stuff up. I made
Okay.
too many promises for tonight, but I'll be back. Sparky, try to stay out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
All right, catch you in a bit.
You too. Barky, I notice all your aircraft, you never mess around with Rabi or Rabi type rudders.
No.
You always get it fixed. Not
Why
worth the
would I
trouble.
Why would I want to induce yaw into it?
Yeah.
You got aircraft engineers like Keith and Brett and all them other guys. Well, it does some kind of thing for procession. Well, if your airplane doesn't weigh 80 ounces, you don't need that shit. I don't think.
So when you're saying the airplane, so what you're saying is you don't want to sacrifice performance, straight line performance with yawing it, like dragging it sideways, slipping it sideways,
Well,
dragging it around.
I run 3 degrees of motor offset. Everybody looks down at me for that. They want to run 0, but I also see them squatting on the overheads. I don't have to do that. Engine offset is your friend. Now, this is just me talking. I'm not a national champion, but I built thousands of these airplanes. I mean, hundreds of these airplanes anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I tend to offset mine. Depends on, I found on some of the profiles I've got, it depends on the model. Some of them like it, some of them don't need it, some of them do. Mind you, most of mine have got a little bit of offset on the rudder.
Let me get to the chat here. Let's see what we got. In the chat, we got like given from Wayne Rice. Roy Lane, good evening to the group. Like given. Bryce Rackley says 1:15 in the afternoon here in New Zealand. having a late lunch, got to go back to work. And Gary
Get back to
Sinclair
work, boys.
it's been about an hour and his computer is still getting Windows ready on restart.
Go
Okay.
back to work, Bryce. You need it. Bryce lives not far from me.
Okay.
Anything else on chat, Sparky, or is that it?
That's all I can see.
Okay.
Okay. I used to Raby rudder myself on the big airplanes, like anything with a PA, anything over about a 60 size airplane. Once I get into something bigger than a 13-inch prop, then I want the Raby rudder. It seems to help me. I don't know how it works for other people, but it's worked well for me on the big stuff.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
got a big 75 up front there, and I put the Raby rudder on there. It seems to help in the overhead stuff. It seems to keep it out there nicely.
Worked well on my Bearcat.
Yeah, I've had good luck with it. But if it's got an 11 or 12-inch prop, I don't bother. I don't. I just keep the rudder straight, and I seem to have pretty good luck with that.
Yeah.
A
Yeah.
little bit of offset maybe in the motor, but not too much.
Well, I run no rudder offset. I run rudder airfoil, and that's it. So it's zero.
Yeah, well, it's
and
that's
That's
right.
cool.
Yeah, I remember that. You saying you run rudder airfoil. I didn't think it'd make much difference, but obviously it does.
3 degrees motor offset. That gives you line tension.
Yeah. Yeah. I like the way that model turned out, Sparky. As I say, I sort of went, oh no, not stripes. And it's really turned out cool. I like it. You've done a real nice job.
I think that's what you guys said about when I striped the green airplane too. Said, "Oh no, green."
Marky, what's the difference between using the motor offset to get line tension as opposed to, say, lead out position?
Lead out position puts it in a crab. Think about a sprint car. Stagger. You know what stagger is?
Yeah.
That's where you're running on the outside, big tires. Your diameter and width is bigger on the outside to hold you turning left. Well, we want to turn right, so I want the engine pointed out, and I can adjust the rake. Then I don't have to run so much rake, at the wingtip. 6 to 1, half dozen the other. I'm sure I'm wrong. I'm sure that other guys say, well, I run 0, 0, 0. Well, hey, if it works for you, knock yourself out. But I've been doing this since the 70s with 3 degrees motor offset and 0. Some guys put down thrust in the engine. Not me. Not me. Not at all.
No, I've never done that either. I've never tried it.
Or incidents in the stabilizer.
A lot of guys put down up incidents on their or whatever in their tail too, don't they? Tailplane. Keep the nose.
Sparky,
Yeah.
I put down thrust in all my airplanes.
Well, does it work for you?
Yep, works
Keep
great.
doing it.
What's it actually do, Gordon? What's it actually do? What's it do?
I put a little positive in the stab and down thrust in the engine.
Wow. It's working
Makes
for
them
you.
track.
Keep doing it.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'm having trouble understanding how that would make the airplane behave differently right side up versus upside down.
He doesn't have to run any droop in his elevators. That's all it comes.
Okay, how many here are pilots? Full-size pilots. Anybody?
No.
Well,
Glider
I
pilot.
haven't finished, but I have 40 hours.
Okay, well, I was a pilot and also a mechanic. You go out there, you won't find one airplane on the flight line that doesn't have down thrust in it.
And how many of those airplanes fly upside down?
Well, a few.
Yeah.
Aerobatic airplanes, but they
Yeah.
also have down thrust.
And the reason they have down thrust and they also have engine offset is to counter the prop rotation.
Talk.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
I may not be a pilot, but I was a jet mechanic.
Yep. Well, I wasn't a jet mechanic, but I was a piston mechanic.
I understand, you know, the basics of how all this shit works. And all I found is this works for me. I don't say that you have to do it my way. It works for me. And Gordon, he does it his way. Hey, whatever works for you, you know.
Wonder how much of it is about tuning it to your individual feel, as opposed
A
to
lot of that too. There's
to
a
an
lot of
idea.
that too.
What Gordon does is builds in the trim. I don't build in the trim. I have to run droop in my elevators so that the airplane has an angle of attack that will groove, level. But he builds the
Right.
angle of attack in.
Say that again, Sparky. You build droop into your flaps
Yeah,
or elevator.
the elevators.
Elevator,
flap.
not the
Okay,
flap,
so-
the elevator.
So they're tending to lift the tail a little bit, correct?
Right.
In level flight.
Right. So he builds down thrust, which lifts the tail.
So how does that happen? How does that help when you're upside down? It doesn't.
Makes it groove in the slot.
Yeah, it just works anyway. Whatever it is,
I don't
works
know
for
how
you.
it works. It just works.
Yeah.
And Gordon, you put a degree of positive in the stab, horizontal stab, right?
That's right.
And that's just like building down thrust or droop in the elevator.
Right.
Yeah.
Gives you the same
Yeah,
result.
I don't have to put droop in mine. Years ago, I had to before I started doing the down thrust and positives on the stab.
Well, years ago we used to run slop in the flap horn too, so that the elevators would vibrate back there.
Well, it's funny
I
because
never-
I run slop in the elevator.
Oh,
I do
whatever.
I
too.
never do
Yeah.
that.
I do. I too do. Yeah.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Sparky,
Yeah,
I've never ever built an airplane with slop in it.
I did back in the 70s.
Yeah, I know that was a thing going on back then, but I never got into it.
Gordon, are most of your aircraft twin engine stuff?
What's that?
Most of your aircraft, are they twin engine stuff? It's g'day, by the way. Haven't seen you for a
Good day.
while. So do they behave any different in surely there must be different issues when you're trimming the thing compared to a single engine. All sorts of other dynamics down in.
I trim my twins just like a single engine.
Okay.
The last profile I just built, it's got about 20 flights on it. And both engines have a slight amount of down thrust, no out thrust, straight ahead, and a little positive.
And how far back do you have to rake the lead outs to keep line tension?
Not at all. The thing, my lead outs aren't any further back than anybody else's.
Well, it's all trim. It's just a matter of how you're getting it.
Yes. Well, my profile Pathfinder that I guess we tested it about a month ago, and I've had to unsolder the back off the tank and raise my uniflow up. Didn't raise it up enough, so I raised it again today. And I ended up having to put out thrust on the engine.
There you go.
Yeah, it was a little bit light on top, so I put some out thrust and cured the problem.
Okay.
Hey, just as an aside, guys, when I was lying flat on my back dreaming, one of the things I came across was I had no idea this was going on, but for years the glider pilots, that build the indoor stuff, they've been messing with stepped main planes, their main wing. They've been stepping them, and there is. I wondered how, we can't really do that with our stunt stuff because it would weaken the structure, I would guess, and it's probably the wrong speed. Yeah, they're talking about ultra slow stuff. But I wondered if it would make any difference on the flaps and the elevators if we put a step in them. In other words, you start off thick, go both ways thick, and then you drop down and have a thin trailing edge. And it's supposed to release the air with less vortex coming off the wing.
Never tried it.
Anyone ever messed with that sort of stuff as far as you know? And control line? Any of you guys?
Well, I know that flap shape does matter because, like most guys, you know, they say that a slab flap and a slab elevator works better than a airfoiled elevator. I got to tell you, I built them both ways. I can't see the difference. I can't feel the difference.
Right. Okay.
How about you, Gordon?
I've had better luck with the airfoil stab on my big twins and stuff like that. But on my Pathfinders, they got flat stabs.
No, I'm not talking about just a stab, where the stabilizer's flat, and then there's no shape in the elevators either. They're just flat.
Oh no, I've always tapered mine down to 1/8 inch.
Now I've always, you know, I've always sanded flaps in my hand. I can do it faster in my hand. Put the airfoil on them. I like airfoil flaps. They look better and they don't warp like you do when you do the rod method. That rod method is shit, as far as I'm concerned.
I'm sorry, that's the way I do it.
Yeah. And how often do your flaps warp?
Well, if I get the right wood, I don't have a problem.
Well, that's the nice thing about doing it in your hand, where you draw as long as the wood's straight when you start, you center line it and do it in your hand and rotate it and sand the airfoil in your hand. They don't warp, even if it's crap wood.
I tell you, you remember Ed Southwick?
Yeah.
Do you know he never tapered his flaps or his elevators?
Yep, that's what I was just talking about.
I know.
Flat.
Flat as a pancake. It was the same thickness at the train edge it was at the leading edge.
Yep. Some guys like that. I've tried it, and to be honest, I can't feel the difference in the way they fly.
I agree. I fly with that way. I have flat flaps and flat elevators on most of my airplanes.
Saves a lot of
Flat
work.
as a pancake. And the other thing is I do not round the trailing edge. I leave it square.
Oh man.
On both the flaps and the elevators. I leave the trailing edge square. No roundness.
That's supposed to do something.
I agree to that.
They work nice. And they're easy to make because you can sure tell whether it's flat and straight or not. No problem. It's always flat and straight. If you build it on the board flat and straight, it stays that way. Done.
Yeah, that's good.
This flap was sanded in my hand. Let's see if we can. How's it go? There we go. Sanded in my hand, and it's airfoiled, and it's straight, perfectly straight.
Yeah.
Let me see. I want to see.
Gordon's got his bionic eye out.
Yeah.
Pretty straight to me.
Well, I'd let Sparky build an airplane for me anytime.
Yeah.
He does a wonderful job.
Thank you, Gordon.
Yeah.
Sparky tells me it's straight. I'll buy it any day of the week.
Yeah.
But Gordon builds a nice airplane too. Really nice.
He does.
Thank you, Sparky.
From what I've seen of them, Gordon, they're beautiful. Yeah.
Well, his Tony was a piece of work, but great.
Yeah. Nice, sharp
What did
looking
that
plane.
Tony weigh, Gordon?
The old one that crashed was 69 ounces, and the new one's 80 ounces.
Yeah. I knew they were pretty healthy, but that's a big airplane. I mean, it's got a huge fuselage on it.
You got a photo of that, Gordon? You got a photo of that, Tony?
Well,
I got
Gordon,
the airplane.
I visited Gordon a year ago or so, was it, that I visited you? And his Colossus, your Colossus is the most beautiful airplane I thought in your shop.
Oh, thank you.
And it's got a lot of really good company, but that airplane was perfect.
Yeah, I got one of the Concours with it several times.
Hey, Gordon, who's got Tom Warden's purple Monado?
I don't know.
I do. It's Chris McMillan has it in Tucson.
Really?
I saw it at the last Tucson contest.
And who's got the Continental?
Don't know that.
Gary Sauter here in Colorado.
How did you get up in Colorado?
Well, Gary used to live in Los Angeles.
Oh,
And he flew with Tom Warden. And the story he told me was one year his wife bought the Continental from Tom and gave it to Gary for Christmas.
oh, wow, that was nice.
And he still got it. Anyway, he moved to Colorado here 20 plus years ago. And he still got it in his basement as of a few months ago.
The covering ripped off of it yet?
No, it looks really great.
Tim, I'll go down and get my Tony and bring it up for you.
Cool.
Okay?
Love to see it.
And there's a lot of paint on that Continental.
You can't take your camera downstairs?
What's that?
You can't take the camera downstairs?
No, but I can bring the airplane upstairs.
Awesome.
There's a lot of paint on that Continental, Mark. And I just wondered how the Aerogloss dope held up, if it split.
I don't think so. I didn't look at it real carefully, but Gary I don't think he's ever flown it, or at least not when I saw it. He brought it down to VSC one year, probably 20 years ago.
I don't believe most guys could fly that airplane. Do you know why?
No, why?
It has a 3-inch bell crank and the fastest controls you've ever seen.
Okay.
Tom Warden was the quick draw champion, I think, on the West Coast. You know, fast draw pistols. And buddy, his controls were fast.
Anyway, as far as I know, Gary has had it hanging on his wall for decades.
Maybe I ought to get a hold of Chris and see if he's selling me the Monado. Because that was an airplane from my childhood, and Chris wasn't around then.
Oh, I've got some pictures of it, Sparky. I'm not sure how to get them to you in its present state.
I got pictures of it. I know what it looked like. I was there. I was there when the green one was there.
Today.
What's that?
As it looks today. It's in a little bit of disrepair, but it's still pretty amazing.
The green one was absolutely beautiful. Maybe Gordy knew about it, but nobody knew about it. The green one was built first, then the purple one. And the Continental is a Monado, only instead of an I-beamer, it's a D2. The same airplane. And Tom Lay flew it and said it flies like a lowered 49 Merc. And that's the reason for that is it doesn't have any elevators on the damn thing. They're only about an inch and a half wide, 2 inches wide.
Ah, there it is.
Tony.
Wow, nice.
That's
Yeah,
beautiful.
It's a
Can you see
big
it?
Absolutely. Sparky,
Oh,
can
wow.
you make them big?
Yeah, let me make them big.
Beautiful.
It's got full cockpit detail. There's no decals on the airplane at all.
What have you got for a motor in that, Gordon?
Got a Sato 72.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Standing.
You've got the color scheme right too, which I think is important.
Wow.
That's nice.
Gorgeous.
Thank you.
You had
Has
that
it got a
airplane in
pilot?
what Nats?
We flew it this year about a month ago.
At the Nats?
Oh no, this has never been the Nats.
The other one was
So-
that.
Yeah.
And has it got a pilot in it, Gordy? You got
What's
a
that?
pilot in it? Have you got a pilot in it?
Oh, no pilot, but a full cockpit. Oh, it's a scale cockpit of the
You
real
can put a
airplane.
squirrel in there.
You don't have Casminato in there?
You're gonna have to put a squirrel in. That's a nice plane. I'm breathless. I like combat planes. That's beautiful.
Could you grab your oh, I just said the name and I forgot.
Colossus?
Thank you.
What's that?
You have to show your Colossus. Can you make one more trip?
Asking a lot of an
They're
old
killing.
man.
They're killing you, Gordon.
I'm sorry.
Well, I got to take this one down anyway. I'll see if I can reach it.
Maybe next
I
Friday.
If they go to the top of the rack.
Yeah, don't fall off the ladder or something. It's not that important.
No, I don't. I don't use ladders.
No, good idea.
Yeah, last one I fell over the stairs.
I agree with Tim. It's a beautiful airplane.
Be careful, mate.
Yeah.
In the meantime, how's your Bearcat going, Mark?
My Bearcat?
Oh yeah, well, just while he's come back. How's your Bearcat going? Well, Gordy was on there.
You want to see it?
No, yeah. Well, I mean,
We're talking to Mark, Gordon.
Oh,
just while you were getting out of the plane, Gordy.
when I took it to Clovis a couple years ago, Phil Granderson said it was this way and above anything he'd ever seen me do.
Wow.
Can you see the Bearcat?
Yep, it's good.
This was a few weeks ago, before I cut the slots here for the exhaust pipes. After I cut them and put them in there.
Looks
And
sharp.
here's the Raby rudder mechanism.
Oh.
This is how I got it hooked to the push rod. It took a piece of titanium, bent it around, and epoxied it on there to take the extra push rod to bring the cam forward and backward. There's a bottom shot of it. A little close up.
Wow.
And here's the mechanism. And here I was testing it out. You see,
Oh, nice. Yeah, it works.
Very ingenious.
of course, this is the Keith Trossel implementation. Keith
Yeah,
was my mentor on this, and he showed me how he did all this stuff, and it worked pretty good. And here I'm putting the tail wheel in, and I wanted to use the tail wheel for my first one, so I had to wait till I got it in there to lace it onto the plywood. I don't recommend it. I recommend you lace it first and then put it in.
yeah.
And then here's what I was working on today. This is the exhaust, actually the air vent out of the bottom. So you get some flow through the engine compartment.
You're not going to put the muffler inside there above the tank?
No. The muffler, it's a tongue muffler, Sparky.
All right, it's a Super Tiger.
So
That's really neat.
Is a huge amount of work.
Build a full-size version of that, Mark, and fly it yourself.
Oh, and then the other bad news I have. I can get this to work again. This is my flying site up until this week.
Oh no!
The park, we're about 3 or 4 miles away in town, and the grass is really nice because it's really short right now. They haven't been watering it. And it was really great. And I've been flying here for, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 years. I'm not sure. And I was out there on Tuesday, I think it was. And all of a sudden, the park ranger showed up. And he says, you know, you're not allowed to fly model airplanes in City Park. And I said, really? Although I did know that you weren't supposed to. But I've had police come and watch me fly and then they leave. And I got to be friends with the groundskeeper. And I thought I was in good shape here. But Fort Collins has this force, they call them rangers, and they patrol all the city parks and the reservoir and the hiking trails that the city owns. And unfortunately, the city owns the park. So he was fully within his jurisdiction to chase me away. So that's the bad news. The good news is that Jack Pitcher has been flying over near Alt, which is east of Fort Collins, in the flatlands. This is a sod farm. And the guy that owns this sod farm is quite happy to let model airplane guys fly there. And Jack's been flying there a lot. There's a guy from Fort Collins that I met over there too. So there was 3 of us over there flying the other day. And there's different stages the grass is in. This is really fine.
Hey, Mark,
grass.
Jordan's made it back.
Really short. So that's where I'm flying now. Trouble is it's 22 miles away. So
Okay, let's see.
here we go. Beautiful.
Mark,
Mark.
I fly on a dirt.
Wow.
On dirt. That's so nice, Mark. I'm envious.
I
There it
see.
is.
Yeah.
Wow.
Martin, that's beautiful. Wow.
Wow.
It's a big plane.
It,
Yes, it's 715 squares.
How
What's
many
the motor-
hours is it?
What's the motor you got in there? Super Tiger 51, right?
Right.
How much does it weigh?
Wow.
This one is, I think, 63 or 64.
Okay.
The long tail moment. How long is that?
18 inches.
Yeah.
Well,
Wow.
that is a
Jim-
beautiful model.
before I knew who he was, I competed against this airplane with a Skylark. And when I saw it, I thought it was the most beautiful airplane I've ever seen. But he had a Vico 45 in it. And out of about 8 or 10 runs, he might get 2 good runs out of it. So he was struggling. The Vico 45 is really heavy. So that's how I ended up with a long tail moment to try to compensate for it.
Okay.
So that was perfect for today's standards. So anyway, it hasn't been flown in about 5 years.
That would be great to see in the air.
What's that?
It'd be great to see that in the air. Oh, sorry.
This is the same paint scheme that Jim Tickey had on his original. Well,
You had that at the
his,
Nats. You had that at the Nats one year, didn't you?
what's that?
You brought that to Muncie one year, didn't you?
Yeah, more than once.
Yeah.
I won Muncie 2 years in a row with it. And almost a third time, but I come in too hot on my landing and bounced it.
And Mark Gerber, here's what you need for your Bearcat.
What's that?
Let me show you. How do I
Thanks,
do?
Gordon.
You bet.
There we are.
And there's no decals on that one either.
Little paint job. Oh, wow. Is that ever nice?
You know what that is, Mark?
Well,
Go ahead.
it's an exhaust pipe.
Super
header.
Tiger side to rear exhaust.
Okay.
That's cool.
Who makes those, Sparky?
Unobtainium.
Yeah, nobody. That's who makes them. Nobody.
There are buggers everywhere now. Aren't there?
Unfortunately, the tongue muffler works pretty well in the Super Tiger 60. So
Yeah, but you'd have a scale looking exhaust if you use that.
Well, the tongue muffler doesn't stick out very far, so if you don't look at it too closely.
Well, there's some good stuff going on. I hope to be well enough to be able to fly some soon. Yeah. I used to lie in the hospital and dream of flying.
Did you get the hurricane finished, Jonathan?
Yep, it's ready to go.
Good stuff.
It's got to put a wingtip weight in it.
Okay.
And I'll get Gerald Women to fly it first. He can take it up, and then when I'm well, I'll have a crack at it.
How come he don't
It's
come
a
on
good plan.
anymore?
Gerald is he's a very busy man at the moment. When we had I guess you guys call them hurricanes. We had what do they call them down here?
Typhoon.
Typhoon.
Well, we call them tropical storms. When they go through, they can really mess things up, as you know. And we had one go through here about over 12 months ago now, and it did a lot of damage to his property. We were lucky here; we didn't get much here, but some parts of the country they were just like you guys over there when you've had a tornado go through. It was terrible. And he's still tidying the place up, so he's very busy doing that. But he was up at the airfield the other day flying. First day I got out of hospital, I went up and I just watched, and he was up there with the boys and Alina, and they were flying. But he tends to only fly hit and miss at the moment because he's so busy. Yeah, tidying up and painting the house and one thing and another. So, yeah. But we're all still keen. We're still at it. Yeah. The trouble is, we don't get enough young folk coming through now. We've got a few, but
Problem everywhere.
not enough to sustain the thing.
And the reason behind that is what Mark just showed you. You can't fly in the park. You can't fly in the schoolyard.
Yeah,
You have to go
we got
way
the
out.
same thing. We got exactly the same thing here. About 5 years ago, I had a bit of a blue or an argument with the council guy on the phone. I said, "Look, we want to. We've been shifted from where we are. We want to fly on this huge soccer field or domain where they've got enough room for about 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, about 8 fields, 8 soccer fields, and they're hardly ever used. There's only 1 or 2 that are used, and the rest people walk dogs and kick balls around and stuff, and you never see anybody there." And this guy said, "Oh no, you can't fly there. It's it's a bylaw. You can't fly model aircraft in the park." And I explained to him what we flew, and he said, "Oh no, you can't fly that." He said they're dangerous. And I said, "Well, have you ever seen? You allow kites to be flown there, right?" And I said, "Have you ever seen a kid just about get his skull opened up, kite out of control, coming down at about 1,000,000 miles an hour?" I said, "That's quite common. And you'll allow those, but you won't allow us fly." I said, "Well, your law's an ass, and I'm putting you on notice. We're going to keep flying. And if you want to come out sometime and have a look, or tell us to go away, feel free, but we're going to use the park."
Hey, do you know who X-Jet is? He's a Kiwi guy.
Who's that?
X-Jet. He flies drones there in New Zealand.
No, I don't think I've met him. No.
He's a YouTuber. He's having a hell of a time with his city council. They won't let him fly anymore at all. Got a big YouTube channel, X-Jet.
And what's their reasoning?
They're dangerous.
No, they won't. His problem is that he's refused to get the license. I watch him too, Sparky. He's in a pissing match with the government. It's kind of like you saying, I'm a sovereign citizen. I don't need a driver's license to drive. Well, good luck with that one. That's X's problem is he's.
I have heard of the guy now. I do recall that. Yeah, there was something.
He flies out of the field that there was some kind of big control tower they just took down. A famous, control tower at an airfield?
Like Tocoroa Airfield or something like that.
I don't know.
I don't know where he flies, but yeah, I do recall. I mean, me and out, but I think it's just too many busybodies running around trying to control and spoil everyone else's fun. That's what it basically boils down to. They don't treat us like responsible human beings. They don't cater for us as a bona fide recreational sport or whatever you like to
Well,
call it.
they've thrown us into the category of the drone operators, and
So
anything like that is dangerous as far as they're concerned.
let me jump in for a second because there is a ray of hope. I just an hour ago got home from the Golden State Championships that we had in Folsom in Northern California, and Dennis Nunez was the contest director, and James Dean, who lives up near Folsom, found our flying site, and it's a boat ramp, and the boat in ramp for Folsom Lake, and they went to the Rangers or whoever runs that. It's owned by the state of California. And Dennis did a couple flights, demo flights for them, and they let us use it. I think the contest fee was $150. It was big enough for 3 circles laid out, all our parking, a food truck. It was an amazing site. They want us back next year, and so it really was. There is a ray of sunshine in all of this, and it was probably the most beautiful venue I've ever flown at. The sun was at our back, and you're looking out over this beautiful lake while you're flying. So it was really neat. And so I think I never would have even thought to ask about using that, but they're giant. In the summertime, earlier in the season, or when the lake is up, the ramps change. They're tiered based on the depth of the water or how much water is in the lake. But during this time of year, they gave us unlimited access to it. And so it was just a fantastic venue to fly at.
That's great.
Yeah, for me around here, people have been pretty cooperative because they're also looking at you're bringing more people to the area, so it's kind of like a little bit of tourism, and so they're pretty receptive. Plus, we have a big aviation presence here in West Virginia for a small state.
Yeah, I like Mark's place. The sod farm. I think I shared this one night. I fly off of a dry lake, the Dust Bowl. So you guys have got it made in that sod farm.
Let's see what's on the chat. And let me get to the chat here. We got a couple more. I can't forget them.
The trouble is the sod farm's 22 miles away.
No, I understand.
The park I got chased out of was 4 miles away. So
right. Yep.
Hey,
You have to buy a new house.
We got 3 chats to read, and that's it. Old Control Line Pilot says, "Hi all, like given." I don't know who that is. Wayne Rice says, "Got my Cobra short kit from Brodak. How do I get the laser black off?" Sanding. And this is it. And that's just big airplane. Yeah, there's no way to get the laser black off. You just sand it off. Okay.
Ed, just a follow up to what you were saying about, you obviously fly or near an airport there or at an airport?
We have a big sports complex next to the airport.
Right.
And then, so for my Aviation Youth Expo, the first year I did it, it took, with the AMA's help, 9 months to get clearance to fly RC there too, for the event. But for Control Line, I've done it inside and in the ball fields there, and they seem to be very happy with anybody that's coming and doing something different. There's you have people. They spend a lot of money doing the sports complex, and if anybody wants to look at it, it's called the Bridge Sports Complex, Bridgeport, West Virginia, and it's just amazing. And so they spent a lot of money, and they were able to say, well, wait a minute, it's not just the sports complex. We are doing archery there, lessons. I do aviation lessons. And so they're able to have other things there other than, baseball, football, soccer, and that. So it helped them promote this and show to the to the area that, well, we do more than just that. So we're pretty fortunate for right now.
The reason I mentioned airport is just about a kilometre away from here. We've got base Auckland or base Panuapai, RNZAF, a couple of squadrons based there. Hercules being the main one, and they fly over there radio control. There's a club where you can get through security. They'll let you in and fly there. They used to fly a control line there, and I said to the guys a couple of years ago, why don't we go back to the Air Force? And they said, no, not allowed, because apparently they used to fly over there, and the CEO, base commander, one day wandered over to see the model aircraft, and there were guys having a combat. Well, guess what happened? One got cut off and took off. I
Waste of
guess
time, right?
you can see the bloody thing going through the front windscreen of a P3 or something.
Oh man.
So he just said, right, that's it. No control line from now. That's it. Get off.
Timing is everything. It probably wouldn't happen again anytime
I,
soon, but too
I
bad.
tell you what, I flew a half A RC plane in Korea where I was based at, and I almost crashed into the parked airplanes because this thing was just so far out of trim, and I had to just fly it until the motor quit. I was flying it for a guy. It's like, okay, this is a little bit dangerous. But yeah.
Moments. Yeah.
And I used to fly off my taxiway right in front of the hangar, or I had a couple of taxiways that I could do that, and we just talked to the tower. But then the FAA shut all that down, and that. So now, luckily, having done 4 years of the Youth Aviation Expo here, I'm just working now back with the tower, has approval to just give me authorization for the 2 days a year and stuff. So it was
Are you
nice.
talking model stuff or real aircraft too?
Say again?
Are you just talking model aircraft? Or are you talking real primary flight stuff for real aircraft?
Well, heck, my company's on the airport there, and so I
Oh,
used to
right.
fly my models just right outside the hangar and on the taxiway and just talk to the tower. And then all that quit about 6-7 years ago. So it took all this approval to be able to do it in the sports complex and that. So, which is a great place.
The thing we've done here is that guys got together with the radio control club down in Denver, and the radio control guys kind of welcomed us with open arms, and they let us build a circle down there.
Yeah.
I got a picture of it here.
Yeah, I fly control line and radio control at the same field.
This is between.
I just do it when they're not in the air.
Yeah, there's Keith bringing in his Martin Baker for a landing.
Yeah, nice.
But this is between two RC runways. There's one to the right
All right.
and one to the left.
Mark, is that geotex you guys use for that circle?
Yeah, yeah.
How did you get it to go around a curve like that?
Well, they're all straight pieces. It's just
okay, gotcha.
And you can see it's taped down. It's also nailed down.
With the big
Jerry Higgins did all this work. He did a nice job. But anyway, they're quite happy to have us. Only problem with me is it's 55 miles to get down there. But Keith and Jerry Higgins and Chris Brainerd live in the area down there, so they don't have nearly as far to go.
Looks like they get pretty dry weather down there.
Well, it's Colorado in the Front Range is a semi-arid climate.
Yeah.
But over the years, they've dammed up so many of the rivers and irrigated everything. There's side farms and everywhere else. You get plenty of green grass. So
where does the water come from? Is it all out of the Colorado down there?
Well, it comes out of all the rivers that come out of the mountains. I mean, there's the North Platte, there's the Arkansas River, the Rio Grande starts in Colorado, the Colorado starts in Colorado. And they all come out of Rocky Mountain National Park, except for Rio Grande and the Arkansas. And every one of them is dammed up, and they suck off the water into, they call them ditches here. And they've been built up for a couple 100 years, 150 years now.
Yeah.
And there isn't much area in the Front Range that hasn't got access to water.
Yeah. Oh, well, that looks like a nice spot you got there. We've got radio guys up north, just out of Auckland, invited us on there too. So we've got a circle up there we can fly on. But we've been told once again by the local territorial authority that we can't go digging holes in the bloody ground and putting in a concrete pad in the middle and all this jazz. So it's only going to be a matter of time, I think, before they have other plans for that land. So yeah, we just seem to get pushed and shoved around all over the place. Could be worse.
Well, when I was out in California, what they did was you had to go to landfill stuff where nobody wanted to go.
Yeah.
And at least you didn't have to worry about getting kicked out.
Yeah.
I'm going to go find some dinner. It's nice chatting with you, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Hey, Tim.
Good night.
I'll have to join.
Hey guys, I just want to let you know, last Friday I was at Brodak and I ran into Buzz after her surgery. She had her knee fixed. And so she was walking around with her cane and I was walking around with my cane because I had ankle replacement, but she seemed pretty happy and stuff getting around, and looked fairly easy for her getting around. And
Did she have a knee replacement?
Yeah, Buzz did. Yeah.
So is Brodak on for next season?
I would think so. I haven't heard otherwise. I'll be going up there probably again this week or next. If Sandy's around, I'll talk to her. Unless Mark comes in and has an update or so, or will.
Well, guys, I got to go. Things are happening here, so I've got to shove off. We'll see you maybe on Friday with a bit of luck, eh?
Yeah,
take care,
good
John.
seeing you, Jonathan.
Yep, good seeing you guys again. Oh,
Later.
Cheers.
yep. Cheers. Bye.
Hey, Mark, what'd you think of that photo I sent you with that bear cat? Isn't that sad?
You can see money.
Yeah.
Get that thing fixed up again. I don't know how much damage was done, but
Well, quite a bit. For you guys, I ran across a F8 Bearcat just coming out of rebuild, and on takeoff, his left main collapsed, and the photo showed it, and it showed part of the prop up in the air, going through the air, and stuff. Shame. Somebody's got explaining to do.
There's something you never see Sparky polishing on an airplane.
Yeah, Gordy, I think you need to go back downstairs and get that Tony again so I can ask you a question.
You can ask me.
Just kidding, Gordy. Just kidding.
Where's John Miller at tonight?
I don't know. He stopped by last week and we visited for about an hour and a half. So,
You gonna build one of them push me, pull me things?
what's that?
You gonna build one of them push me, pull me things?
Are you talking to me?
Yeah, you gonna build one?
No.
You know,
I think that's a project that you need to build.
no, if you think logically, if you got the spiral going around the fuselage this way, well, you can't see what I'm doing here. Let me see. me go to this. You got the spiral going around the fuselage this way, and there's a motor back here, and the spiral's going around the fuselage. Why not just put a bigger motor on it and a bigger propeller instead of two?
It spins the opposite direction.
No,
Yeah, it cancels out torque,
Yes, it does.
the twisting motion.
Okay.
That's like on the jet engines, you know. We've got several spools, and the fan turns one way, and the next set of turbine turns the other way.
How many real airplanes are done that way? I think Elon Musk had one. No,
Oh, there's a Cessna that was done that way. It was in Mad Max. I always forget the model of it.
02.
Yes. The Cessna 337.
Yeah, 337 Cessna Skymaster.
Yeah.
How successful of an airplane is it?
It was pretty successful. The performance was supposedly awesome on that thing. Probably was expensive to make, so they didn't make them for very long.
Military used them a bunch.
It's just like that contra rotating drive you like, Sparky, except for there's a fuselage in the middle of the two prop discs.
Well, the counter rotating drive makes a lot of sense to me.
It's contra rotating.
Whatever. This is not a grammar class or a spelling bee.
No, but there's counter rotating is what a normal twin would be when their props are on different prop shafts, and contra is what you call it when they're on the same prop shaft.
Whatever, they go in different directions. That's counter rotating.
Okay.
How about
not counter rotating?
Yeah, we had a pattern contest at the field, and the one guy makes his own gearbox to have the two props to where one spins one way and one spins the other. And that's
Brenner Sharp.
Where was he out of?
I don't remember. Somewhere east.
Yeah. Okay. Probably so.
He was the first guy to do it. He used to be I think he was an engineer for Whirlpool or something. Or
okay. Yep. I remember them saying he used to do washing machines and all that stuff.
That's Brenner Sharp. He was the first one. Well, obviously people have done that contra rotating, but he was the first one to kind of make it happen in those big pattern airplanes.
Last I knew, it was only $750 for one of those things.
The props are
make an expensive control line.
$300 a set for props or something like that.
Randy Smith had one in 1989. It was a fluid drive counter rotating prop on a PA. Remember that, Gordon?
Here's the one that was at the Nats.
Right. Well, no. Yeah, that's at the
Brenner's is interesting because it's a differential drive, so each disc could absorb more or less of the load. It's basically like a planetary gear system, like in a transmission. They don't spin the same RPM.
That system there on that Red Bull airplane was impressive.
Yeah, I don't know what this gearbox looked like, but I bet it was pretty clever.
No, it's two motors. One motor behind each other, and one motor spins one way and the other motor spins another way, and the shaft goes through the center.
Okay, so they're electric.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was electric airplane.
Cool.
But
yeah, that's what this one was.
Brenner's is one motor.
Was it?
Yeah, it's one motor and it's a epicyclic gear train, or a sun gear, ring gear, planetary gear.
Some kind of gear.
I think they have a version where it's one motor and it's got a pinion and a spur gear to drive one prop, and then a belt drive to drive the other prop, and that's how they reverse it. There's like 3 of them available now for those pattern airplanes.
Yeah, I remember when I was at Toledo, there was somebody there that had 1 or 2 different types, but I never stared long enough at them to really look at them other than walking by.
Right.
Well, Randy Smith's airplane was a fluid drive. There was no direct drive. One
like
tractor,
a torque converter kind of thing.
Well, the prop on the back half was freewheeling, and the force from the, the blast, the air blast from the front prop caught the other prop and turned it the opposite direction.
Oh, okay.
Fluid drive is what it is, and because air is a fluid.
Okay.
We had one tractor and one pusher prop on it, and the other one was freewheeling.
Was the front prop just a conventional, propeller on the crankshaft arrangement, or?
Yes, the front prop is a tractor, so he would just start the engine, and the force of the air blast, the fluid, would drive the other propeller in reverse. And it sounded weird. There's tapes of it on the internet somewhere.
How long has it been since he's been flying?
I haven't seen him fly since probably 2010 or 11. How about you, Gordon?
That's about right. Yeah, he hasn't been doing well. I've talked to him a few times on the phone.
Parkinson's is no good.
Well, a bunch of us are getting up there in age. I'm 81 and Randy's in his 70s. I did fly for a couple of minutes Brent Sultan yesterday. He's been struggling with it, and I says, well, if you let me fly it, I could probably tell you in a couple laps. So I did a couple rounds and squares with it and figure eights.
Brett Buck?
What's that?
Brett Buck?
Oh, Brent Williams.
Oh, Brent Williams.
Right.
But anyway, what's that?
Is it Norm Whittle up there?
Norm Whittle?
Yeah, it's his airplane, Sultan.
Yeah, he's maybe 2 miles from my house.
Yeah, he could tell you what's wrong with it.
He kind of flies RC now.
Had enough of control line?
Well, he goes back and forth. I think he gets bored.
What did you find Brent's airplane?
Yeah, I've got a Sultan that I got from Carl Shute that he bought from Norm. And I put my Roadjet 65 in there on a pipe, and it flies really well.
Monocoque wings?
Silk span and monocoque.
Right, he monocoats over silk span, which doesn't make sense to me.
Gordy, what did you find with Brent's airplane?
I thought it flew great.
Oh, no problems. It was just he was just struggling with it, huh?
Yeah, I says there's nothing wrong with your airplane, Brent. It's the pilot.
That's never fun to hear.
Yeah, he kind of agreed with me. A couple weeks ago, I went out with score sheets and had him fly 3 flights in front of me while I judged him. And then yesterday I asked him, did you look over your score sheets? Yeah. I said, you compare maneuver to see if it's a habit or an accident. No, I didn't do that. I said, you go back and lay out all 3 scores and look at which ones you did bad on and see if you did bad on the other 2 sheets. He said, then you know you just screwed up or it's a habit. So hopefully he does that. So he needs to make up new lines. I says, you need to throw those lines away. They're horrible. I says, there's no kinks, but you got a lot of curlicues in there. So I told him if he'd come over to the house, we'd lay him out in the backyard.
I got a repair question for you, Gordon.
Okay.
Steve Smith the other Steve Smith is gonna come over tomorrow, and he's gonna bring that Spectra, which is a vector that I turned into a SV. And
Okay.
what's happening is that there's frays. Now remember, that was an ARF wing, so they didn't change the lead outs, which would have been the first thing I'd have changed in an ARF box.
Right.
The lead outs are frayed at the line clip. So he wants me to see if I can repair that. How would you go about opening up the bottom to do the least amount of cosmetic damage to it?
Well, I'd go into the bottom of the fuselage, cut out the center section planking long enough so you can get both sides of the bell crank. And I had to do that on my twin, the old original Gemini, or not Gemini, the Too Much. I put 3 flights on it. I was going to do a 3rd flight for a contest. Nah. So I took it home, put it on the kid's table, was wiping it off. I went to straighten the flaps out, and the lead out just pulled out of the airplane.
After you replaced it?
What's that?
After you replaced it?
No, this is before I replaced it.
Oh, okay.
That's why I had to replace it.
Why?
But anyway, what I did is I fed a regular piece of piano wire from the wingtip into the bell crank, reached its needle holes, it's thin, and I pull it out.
CA the lead out onto it and pull it out through?
And, well, I actually soldered it.
Okay, whatever.
And then I pulled the piano wire back out and pulled the cable out with it. And then I made up new ends and I unbolted the bell crank so I could work on it.
How am I going to be able to get in there and wrap it through the bottom of the fuselage? That's going to be like open heart surgery.
Well, I unbolt the bell crank.
Well, there's no unbolting this one. It's suspended.
Well, my twin was suspended also. I cut one of the plywoods loose so I could get the bell crank out to where I could work on it.
This almost sounds like a major job where it'd be faster just to build a wing.
Well, no, it wouldn't be that hard, but it is difficult. I had to have it done because the contest was the next day. So I stayed on it until I got it done.
Uh-huh.
But it probably took me 2 to 3 hours. And then I have to glue everything back together.
Well, there's going to be a video on wrapping lead out, repairing lead out stuff I'm going to do.
Well, you could always crimp them.
I think that's what happened this time is they're crimped and it looks like that's where the strands are breaking is right at the edge of the crimp.
I'll tell you what's wrong with it. It's cheap shit Chinese wire.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
I've
you
got
won't
airplanes in my shop, they're all crimped.
Because you won't break the lead out wire that I use. This is coated leader, 100-pound coated leader from Jack Sheets. There ain't no way it's going to fray.
Yeah, I use the 27 thousandths.
I think these are 32.
Yeah. Yeah, 32, that's going to go a long time.
Let me see. I know the package says 98 pounds, 95 pounds full, 100 pounds.
Yep, close enough.
Yeah.
It's a good thing as heavy as this airplane's going to be that you got those lead outs, Sparky.
Actually, you ain't gonna believe what these are. Oh, that's why. We gotta have it 0 to start.
Oh. I put 18 thousandths lines in for lead out.
These are 40 thousandths.
Oh, wow.
Holy smokes.
You said that was a surplus from a bridge building project somewhere?
No, that's Jack Sheeks. He sold me a lifetime supply for $5.
No, we can't beat that. I don't know who that was.
Jack Sheeks?
Yeah.
Jack Sheeks was my hero when I was a kid.
Okay.
Mine too.
You know what? Now that you mention that, I saw that in your entry on the how I got started in the hobby on the forum.
Jack
think-
Sheets to build one airplane a week, I think, because he had always had one or two models in model airplane news every month.
You're lucky
Yeah,
that there's no YouTube
everything
back then.
What's that?
I said he'd have been the king of YouTube if he would have been alive now.
I think he just passed away about, what's it been, about 8 years ago, 7 or 8 years ago. I called him Methuselah. He was a motorcycle cop in Indianapolis, and he owned a hobby shop. Well, me being an outlaw motorcycle rider, so we're on both different sides of the coin, but we had a lot in common, me and Jack.
You remember the name of his hobby shop?
No, I don't. Sheik's Hobby, probably. Dan Winship ended up getting a set of plans from Leonard Newman's estate that had Jack Sheik's signed hand. I think it was for the stunt liner. I mean, Jack Sheik's was a prolific builder like you never seen. I would never be able to keep up with him.
Unbelievable.
Crazy to think.
Did you say was that Matt Newman's dad?
Yeah, Leonard Newman.
Did he die?
A long time ago now, probably a year ago.
Yeah.
Well, I missed that.
Well, did you know John Jordan died?
No, I didn't know that either.
You know who that was, right?
No.
That's my buddy that I did Saturday at John's with, and we went to the Nats together and went everywhere together.
I'm not sure I even met him.
You go back on the YouTube channel and just type in Saturday at John's. You'll see him.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
And he passed away also?
Yep.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Died from liver cancer. And how it went down was he was going to go to the Nats with me because we already booked the room. So we got the room and I got to pay for it. And he said, well, his wife has problems as well, health problems. He says, well, I got to stay home and take care of my wife. I said, okay, well, no problem. So I covered the room, and then I stayed for the Worlds, and then we talked back and forth for about 2 weeks after the Worlds. And then he texts me and he says, I got to go to the hospital. I'm sick. Okay, so he gets out and I said, I hope you're feeling better. This, that, a couple of texts back and forth. He said, I'm too sick to text and I'm too sick to talk. Okay, well, just get well. And the next thing I hear, he's passed away, liver cancer.
Wow.
I bet it didn't take 30 days to get him.
That's too bad. I hate that C word.
That's why this has got Jordan Air on the back of this. This is in memory of John Jordan.
Cool.
He made these wheels here. I'm going to put on it. He made the prop extension. He made me a custom. I don't have them on here, but custom wheel collars. Now he's gone, so it's all gone.
That's sure too bad.
Caffeine, you made it in. You better talk because I'm going to hand the show off.
Hi. Yeah, I'm doing great here, but yeah, I didn't do much during the past week, so yeah, I'm just here to listen to you guys.
What time is it there? Noon?
No, it's still in the morning. It's 9 a.m.
Oh, you're 12 hours. Okay.
Yep.
You're not at work? Why aren't you at work? I know you ain't retired.
No, I'm doing it. So yeah, so I'm doing it in between.
Oh, you're at work now?
Mm-hmm.
Your boss know you're on Stunt Hangar?
No.
I think he knew the answer to that.
Oh man.
Well, I'm going to tell you guys good night. It's nice seeing you. You all have a good night, and I'll see you Friday.
Oh, Gary got
Good,
the camera
good,
working.
good seeing you guys. Yeah, same with me.
And I guess we're going to end the program about the time Gary gets his shit together.
Oh, no, slow computer.
Oh, hi, Gary.
You made it, Gary.
Took an hour and a half to read.
But look at the bright side. It kept you awake this whole time. Up, the camera just shut off again. Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, I was
gorgeous.
watching. I'm watching you on my phone. Listening.
All right, everybody, we're going to shut this down. I mean, it's, it's not worth keeping on unless you want to take over, Steve.
No, I need to get some stuff done before I go to bed. I can't stay.
Yeah, I gotta get going too. So, good
All
night,
righty.
everybody.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Everybody
Anyway.
on YouTube, like, subscribe, and share. We'll see you Friday. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.
All right.